You gotta love CBS Sports because they always find a way to make me laugh. And in a very negative way. So they listed one team need for every single team going into training camp, right? And if you've ever followed CBS Sports, you know sometimes they can post some wacky stuff. This is one of those times. So if you think about who would we need, okay, the Bengals here. A lot of people would say probably number one selection would be a veteran right guard. We got Fairchild at left guard. He's looking pretty good. We got Teddy K at center. You could even theoretically say, okay, put Matt Lee at center and put Teddy K at right guard. And then right tackle would be Mims. Left tackle would be Orlando Brown. Well, that's, I don't think they're going to do that. So I think, realistically speaking, unless you want to go with Lucas Patrick and Cody Ford, you would probably pick up a veteran guard. That's one team need that, you might want to go for. Okay, well, if it's not a veteran guard, who else? Maybe a safety. Behind Geno Stone and Jordan Battle, we really don't have that much depth at the safety position. It'd be nice to have a veteran guy who you can rotate and have different rotations with behind Geno Stone and Jordan Battle. Okay, if it's not that, who else would you want? Right? And then you could say a veteran corner. Maybe you bring back Mike Hilton. Maybe you bring in another veteran corner that kind of gives a little bit more veteran leadership to the cornerback core. Okay, that's not a bad idea. I don't think on that list of team needs, edge rusher was not on that team need list. At this point, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Now, I will say to this point right here about Shamar Stewart has not talked to the Bengals since June 30th. Last time he talked to the Bengals, it's not like they had a great conversation. It was pretty much, hey, I'm not budging, you're not budging, that's pretty much it. Like, hey, what's up, goodbye type of concept. So it's not like they really have had much talks at all because they aren't budging. Either side refuses to budge. So the Shamar Stewart situation right now is we are believing he's going to be out for at least the beginning of training camp. Maybe all training camp, we don't know. If he does sit out all of training camp, will he play the preseason? Again, potentially not. Maybe he won't be, anything until the season. Or maybe he'll just go back to college, right? That's really where we're at right now with him. Now, the Shamar Stewart situation, beside the point. Trey's situation is interesting. He did just post, well, he didn't post this, but someone posted this. Him and Sam Hubbard were working out the other day, doing their, stuff. This happened actually yesterday. So, which is really cool. But at the same time, his situation is also up in the air because he's not signed yet. And again, it doesn't look like they're budging in any way either side on his situation. So, I do, in my back of my head, understand this concept, but I do truly believe that Trey will play on his last year if we don't sign him. I know he says he won't, but I think it's just a way to get leverage. He's trying to force the hand, and I think in the end, he's going to play. I just mentally, I've not been able to think he's going to sit out. It's Trey. I don't think he will. I think he will fight it to the very last second. I think he's a true competitor. I think he still wants all the money possible. But I think at the heart of heart, he will cave. I truly believe that on Trey. I said it since the beginning, and I still believe that till now. I know he's saying he'll sit out. I know he's being very upfront and honest. I think eventually, though, there is probably a deadline. There's probably a date in his head where he's like, okay, after this date, whatever. We'll just go out there and play. But he's not going to tell the Bengals that because he wants the Bengals to agree to his terms. But I do truly believe he will. Shamar Stewart, no. I think there is zero date. And honestly, to a point, I don't think there's any actual, in his head, I don't think he mentally is going to be like, hey, I'm going to play for this team. I think he's understanding that there's a possibility he's not playing for this team. And I think that's pretty much just how it is. Which, for better or for worse, whatever, right? But I think Trey, 1,000%, he's going to play. Shamar, I don't know. He might not. He might end up going back to college. Who knows? It ends up being, again, I scream from the hilltops, we should have went with Malachi Starks. Oh, we should have went with Malachi Starks. Or Derek Harmon. We should have. I still think Shamar Stewart could be a great player. I still think he will be a great player in the NFL. I'm not saying that. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't think he is a bust. But I personally, I said it since the beginning, I'd rather have Malachi Starks. I know Joe Goodberry rather have Derek Harmon. Just my personal opinion. Anyway, we made the bed. We're in right now, right? We need Myles Murphy to step up. We have Joseph Asai, who's going to have another good season. Cam Sample will also have a good season. Edge rusher is not something on the top of my list right now. I think there's a lot more important needs that we need to focus on. And what we need to focus on is getting these two guys signed. Once Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson is signed, if Myles Murphy can step up, which I truly believe he will with a new defensive line coach and a new defense coordinator, then we need that to happen. We need to grow what we have in-house right now rather than going out and getting a veteran who, again, maybe does or does not do good with us. Who knows? A lot of times you pick up a veteran, edge rusher off free agency, it doesn't work out. Usually guard, it does work out. Safety, to a certain degree, it will work out. I say that because, sometimes it doesn't. Nick Scott. Nonetheless, though, edge rusher is not the position I would probably have gone for. But that's just my personal opinion. Cleveland is wide receiver. Ravens is defensive line. Safety. Could have put us on that list. Colts is linebacker. Defensive tackle for Jacksonville. Texans is offensive line. Titans is wide receiver. Safety for the Bills. Corner for the Dolphins. Jets wide receiver. Edge rusher for the Patriots. Wide receiver for the Broncos. Tight end for the Chargers. Offensive guard for the Chiefs. And linebacker for the Raiders. Okay. Yeah, again, like I said my piece. Now, I do want to talk about one more thing before we get out of this video. Okay? If you remember back, some of you guys might not remember, when we won our playoff game, I think it was the Bills playoff game. It was after the Super Bowl run. The first year after Super Bowl run, we went back to the AFC Championship game. Coach Taylor said, if I was going to leave Cincinnati, you have to take me out in a coffin because he doesn't want to leave. So you'd have to take him out in a coffin in order to get rid of him. Well, he's now in the hot seat, right? He's now in the hot seat. He's on that list of potential players that would get, potential coaches that would get fired. That statement did not age well. Because I'm assuming when he said that, he was assuming we're going to win multiple Super Bowls, we're going to be a very successful team. For a very, very long time, we're going to be the best team ever, right? And that's what he assumed. But now we are a couple years past, and situations happen, and he's on the hot seat. I wonder if that statement still is valid. I don't know. I thought about that today, and it really rang in my head so freaking much. Like, what do we do now? If we fire him, do we have to take him out in a coffin? Obviously, we're not going to kill him, but if we take him out in a coffin, is that how it has to do it? Do we float him down the Ohio River in a coffin, like in a little boat? I don't know. I thought about that today. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one. Peace out.